What's good, y'all? Grand rising to my spiritually enhanced individuals, and good morning to those who are not. It's your boy Benga Etuk, aka Benga the Menace, aka Nigerian Hot Boy, and you're on the third week of Teacup With Etuk. Glad to have you here. This week's topic is, what does love have to do with it? No relation. I'll discuss what love means to me, what love could possibly mean to you, and the way that they conflict each other. If that makes sense. First and foremost, hello to all tuned in. It's your boy Benga Etuk, and you are watching the third episode of Teacup With Etuk. Let me state that once again. This week's topic is, what does love have to do with it? Today I will discuss what it means to me, to you, and the past, present, and future tenses of love. Let's get started. Back in the day, love was many things except for love. Love was poverty. Love was bankruptcy. Love was the friends you had during slavery, the friends you had during the Great Depression, the friends you had during the Harlem Renaissance. Love was facing that racism and still coming home to your partner and showing them love. That was love. Most importantly, love was all they had. It was a one-way street for a lot of women, though, unfortunately, and they didn't have input on many things at all. There was no such thing as, I'm not in the mood. There was no such thing as back talk or not tonight. You know, it only brought tension amongst partners and sometimes physical altercations. Not only was it considered to be defiant and against your husband's will, some men refused to be talked to that way, and I don't want to say the words, but you know. My three topics for this week that I would like to go into depth are staying in toxic environments out of love, domestic abuse, and my third and overall topic for the video, what does love have to do with it? They're down here. Okay. I'll discuss each one of them, you know, with a little bit of insight as I normally do. And I'll have my conclusion, you know, but let's get into it. Staying in environments out of love. Staying in environments that are no good for you because you believe that the love y'all share cannot be redirected, replenished, and repackaged for a completely different person is blasphemous. At least in my opinion, it's blasphemous. Because it certainly can be replaced. A lot of people believe just because they have children with the individual as well, it means that they are stuck. You do not have to be with the person that you had a child with. It's better to promote a two-parent household, but if you cannot have a pure and healthy co-parenting relationship where you're not being compromised and you're not being sucked back into a traumatic bond, I don't see how that would work. Also, let me add, the aggressor in these kind of situations can be both male and female. Let's not leave any room for a biased individual to come in. Both individuals can be aggressive. Sharing an apartment with an individual, sharing pets, or having a pet in the household, being a co-signer on their credit, or you being co-signed by their credit. Those are a few other situations that people guilt trip themselves into staying. And it shouldn't have to be that way. You know, you shouldn't have to go to court for it either, because those are three things that the courts kind of are not going to take seriously. For the longest time, I personally feared involving myself with anyone. Emotionally, financially, physically, spiritually, hypothetically, theoretically. I wanted no involvement with people whatsoever, and it's only because of how toxic and traumatic my childhood was. And I allowed my upbringing to travel throughout my life into my current adulthood. And I noticed as I look back, it has ruined a lot of opportunities for me. It has plagued quite a few things for me, and I would have never noticed had I not decided, let me sit back and let me heal. Let me begin to heal myself and work on myself. And that's when I began to notice, well, this is happening because of this. You are not just having situations, you know, fall through for nothing. You got to take some form of accountability somewhere in there, you know. But as I said, I allowed my hurt to continue through life with me, and I would have never noticed until I decided to heal. I also have the opportunity and had the opportunity to witness that trauma in other individuals other than myself before pre-growth, before pre-epiphany, and still with a heart full of hate. I was able to just see the mannerisms, the actions, the way it affects your mood, your daily friendships, relationships, money, because it's a chain reaction. It affects quite a few different things. And it's so self-awareing, and it's so anointing, like, just to see not that it's good to witness anyone going through anything of that sort, because emotional warfare is much worse than any other battle that you will have. But just witnessing the birth and the growth of accountability in another individual, and just watching them actually swipe away some of those things you used to know, like, that's genuinely anointing, and that genuinely puts a great energy into the atmosphere. And even if you don't feel like it, you're motivating other people to do better. You're motivating other people to want to actually grow. Like, you will be surprised what people actually are, inspired by once they see you finally just not down in the dumps for once in your life, As I said, when you begin to reflect more, you project less. Does that make sense? When you begin self-reflecting and less deflecting, you genuinely get to see what life is all about. Not only do you get to see what life is about, you get to see what you are about personally. Having such weight on your shoulders at a young age, because me currently, I'm 23 years old. Had I still decided to carry this hurt until 26, until 36, do you know how much money, do you know how many things I would have lost, how many people I would have ran away, how many opportunities that will cease to exist because I refused to grow the hell up, or I allowed the hurt from other people to hurt other people, because hurt people. And until you decide to break that cycle, whether it's a coworker, whether it's a relative, whether it's a manager, whether it's a business partner, you will hurt everyone around you. That's just some food for thought. Let's not make it seem like all hurt turns into bad emotion. It turns into bitterness, because it don't. Some hurt genuinely puts fire under people, and it makes them a better person. Unfortunately, some people are trauma motivated. It takes a situation of very, of extreme seriousness for them to finally realize, let me get up, let me get on my shit. I almost lost my life, or almost lost everything to my name, or almost lost my family, almost, like, stuff like that is the only way to get a few hand of people back into reality. Let's get into my second topic, domestic abuse. Domestic abuse has always been a very high-numbered crime, a crime that's very popular amongst every race. But due to it being more enclosed and us being at home more due to COVID and the lockdowns and stuff, depending on your state, a lot of crimes during domestic violence has skyrocketed. People are starting to realize that they can't really be around this person or that person 24 hours a day. You don't love this person as much as you thought, or turns to find out it wasn't love at all. Couples are becoming to realize that they know nothing about each other, and this phrase that people love to say is, it's like I don't know you anymore. But it actually means I never got the chance to know you. And the fact that I'm being catfished, my feelings are hurt by it. People are so in love with dead bodies. People are chasing dead bodies, and they're not chasing souls. You're falling in love with just a body, a materialistic, a physical form, when that soul has been here more than once. That soul has been here more than once, and they're still scorned, they're still bitter, they're still angry. What makes you think you can rearrange the soul? You can rearrange the person all day long, but did you fix that soul? Does that make sense? Okay. And there is nothing worse than having a stranger in your home. I mean, word to Tamia, if it's a stranger in your house, you don't want to be there. You don't want to be around a stranger. You don't want to, be in the same bed with a stranger, cooking for a stranger, sexing a stranger. Like, there are so many things that you allow to slip away. They will not come back. Not your peace, not the person you once knew. Like, once it's gone forever. And I'm not just saying to cherish it, but I want you to actually understand what you have at home. I want you to weigh your pros. I want you to weigh your cons. And I want you to, compare and contrast, because thinking from the mind and thinking from the heart will only work so much. And if you have a stranger in your home, you're clearly blinded at the moment, so you're only using one. You're not using your mind and your heart. And tell me, how long do you think you can keep going through life with only using either or, mind or heart? I'll wait. I mean, do you have an answer? You cannot use your mind and think you can conquer the world without using your heart. You cannot use your heart thinking you're going to conquer love itself without adding your brain into the equation. They are a team, just as you and your partner should be. Whether one is the brains, one has that heart, you have to actually start looking at these things in a physical sense, because that's all life is. That is all life is. A walking heart, a walking soul, a walking brainiac, like a walking dick, a walking pussy. You will be very surprised. The universe will allow you to see exactly what that person is if you just pay attention with those actual, mind, heart, eyes, soul, My apologies for getting off track, though. Domestic violence has watered down the meaning of love itself. And a lot of people believe if they're not getting hit on, if they're not getting choked up, snatched up, that they're not loved by this person. Displaying aggressive, abusive, rough, and forceful behavior does not make you masculine whatsoever. And so many people of my generation believe that love comes with a aggression. It's okay to be loved aggressively because I am a naturally aggressive person. But it's never okay to be hit and to be made, and to be made to believe that that is love, because it's not by far. A person will never hit you. A person will never yell at you, call you out your name. Well, let me retract my statement. To raise your voice, you could be passionate about something and the other person could just not be understanding. I won't give it any excuses, but it's still a form of aggression. Seeing how aggressive the love was between my mom and my dad is the reason why I'm so aggressive with mine. I've been trying to change it, but I will say, even with my aggressive standpoint, I've never yelled at anyone I've dated. I've never put my hands on them. I've never did anything that has made this person feel like there's a stranger in their house. So I have some kind of accountability, but I still have a long way to go, because I just want a pure, growing, mutual love to the point where it is almost like business. If a business is not thriving, do you love coming to that business? Do you even want to use the bathroom in that establishment? Because that's how I work. And that's how I see my relationships. It's a business. If you plan on being together long term, it's most certainly business. You have to realize emotions cannot be in every part of your relationship. You have to know when to decipher. You have to know when to detach. And you have to know when to actually de-escalate. Your triple D. Detach. De-escalate. Damn, I forgot the other day just that fast. I apologize dearly. I'm out here I'm slipping on my pimping, and I wrote it down, and I still over here catching brain farts. As we go through our domestic violence tab, though, I just want to add a few things. Like, it's okay to have a partner who is not considered masculine. It's okay to have someone who does not hit you. It's okay to have someone who does not yell at you. It's okay to have someone who knows how to genuinely show their masculinity through actions, that knows how to lead a household, that knows how to take care of a household. That's what being a man is all about. But no one wants to actually spend their time teaching someone how to be a man or how to be a woman. Because when it comes to trying to teach you how to be a woman, that's when we must part ways, because I know nothing about that, you know? As well as you know nothing about teaching a man. But a woman can be a mother, but a father cannot be a mother, you know? You can be taught how to have etiquette, how to have class, how to treat women, how to be a gentleman. But it's only so much a man could teach a woman, because 9 times out of 10, women are smarter than men. I didn't make the rules. I just go by. I found the strength to break the cycle of abuse that I've had in my life, that I've had growing up in my childhood, my surroundings, my environment, just by deciding that I don't want it there. Just by saying, I don't want this in my life, slices that shouldn't have. What you speak is what will be. And what will be must stay. You can't just say something, manifest it, and then go on about your life, go back to what you were doing, because watch those roles reverse and watch you go back to step one. Watch you end up where exactly you happen to just start. My apologies, y'all. It's getting pretty loud out here. The company you keep and the energy you seep makes a huge difference. I'm nowhere near perfect, so when I talk about these things, I don't want y'all to make it seem like I'm calling anyone out, because I'm talking to me too. Just as much work needs to be done with me as much as anyone else. I'm just slightly aware. And the first step of almost anything is acceptance. Do you hear me? The first step of almost anything is acceptance. So again, I introduced my third and my final topic, which is the overall question of the video. What does love have to do with any of this? Like, genuinely, thoroughly. Love is the furthest thing from any situation that doesn't promote growing, gratitude, and a healed soul. I'm at a point in my life where I'm personally searching for the answer, weighing my pros, my cons, and strategizing my moves to avoid making any actions out of anger or just overall emotion. Not because I don't know how to control myself, but because it's never good to make any decisions when you're not in your right state of mind. Business, emotional, sexual, physical, transactional, whatever it may be, it's not good to make decisions in the spur of the moment when you know you've been off your rocker. That's typically how kingdoms fall. That's typically how dynasties end, and that's typically the turning point for a lot of individuals. Thinking you knowing what you're doing, thinking you have not lost it. Everybody has a bad day, and every dog has a day. You feel me? What does love have to do with it? What does love have to do with abuse? What does love have to do with aggression? What does love have to do with accountability? What does love have to do with remembrance, resilience? I can't answer all the questions, so as you hear me asking these questions, I want you to repeat them back to yourself in your mind and genuinely ask, what does it have to do with it? Like, genuinely. You have so many things going on in these relationships these days, with people around my age. Like, we're going through things that are minuscule compared to what our grandparents and our ancestors went through. We're about to break up over small things like you didn't text me back, I'm sorry, or you didn't respond in a timely manner, you hurt my feelings. Those are things that today's individuals break up for. Mind you, let's go back 50, 60 years. Abuse, misogyny, children conceived from rape, bankruptcy, scams, schemes, fraud. Like, they were actually breaking up for legit, legal, understandable reasons. Y'all get one situation that's a bit too hard for your understanding and you run. It's not always good to run because you're going to tire eventually. There is no checkpoint in life that requires you to be a sprinter. You will never get credit for running away from your problems. You will never get any credit for running to anyone else to deal with your problems. Even if you always have that one person in your life that is dumb enough to deal with your problems, there will always be that one problem they cannot solve. And that's the shit you deal with in here and in here. They can't fix that. They can't hide that. They can't mold that, you know. So I want you to genuinely, while you do these things, like, it's okay to branch out. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to still look for love. You know, it's okay to still want love. It's okay to still need love because not everybody is the same. But I want you to still work on yourself in that process before you lose yourself. Because as I said a few minutes ago, once you lose something, it cannot be replenished. Once you lose your mind, once you lose yourself, once you lose your purpose, how far do you think you can run without this or this? What does love have to do with it, though? It's a genuine question. What does love have to do with it? I'm even over here to the point where I'm thinking about it literally like, wow, I kind of, you know, I've said a few things that has even made me think about my personal involvements and my personal situations. Love has nothing to do with a lot of the shit that we deal with, but it's an emotion. We feel it, and we think it's love. The human body has hundreds and thousands of emotions, but the only ones we focus on are anger, sadness, anxiety. And there are so many other emotions that you experience that you probably have experienced already that you've just thrown in one of the categories that I've named. Or I'm just angry, or I'm just sad, or I'm just feeling anxious. But the entire time you're actually depressed and you actually have been looking for help. You want somebody to talk to, but you don't know how to say it. And you can't talk to your partner because they're a stranger at the moment. It's a stranger in your house. All of these things, I'm telling you, looping back for each other. When you think you've escaped one thing, you get pulled right back by that same exact question or that same exact statement that I've made. So it's very much so to say, love has nothing to do with it, but everything at the same exact damn time. And it takes time to realize that. So I genuinely, I pray for the growth. I pray for everything that y'all go through to just cease to exist, because it can all be minimized slowly but surely. It's your boy Banger Etuk, aka Banger the Menace, aka Nigerian Hot Boy, and this week's of Teacup with Etuk, What's Love Has to Do with It, has come to an end. As always, I recommend, suggestions, comments, likes, subscriptions, anything that you feel like that has you slightly uneasy about this topic. Feel free to reach out in the comments. You can message me. I always do a little answer and question box before I do my videos to give you any, add any suggestions, anything you want me to talk about, advice from a banger, just let me know. I'm always there for my listeners. I'm always there. Peace, love, peace, and hair grease. Love y'all.